Hey everyone, Arsenal Fan Circle here. Season 3, episode 19. 3 wins in a row. And I want to say Happy New Year to everybody. It's 2021, and hopefully things are on the up and up. Generally, on the up and up with Arsenal. We're trending upwards, right, Gary? That's what you like to see.
Yes, a little bit better each game, right? I mean, that's what we're getting.
Woo.
Just a little bit better each game. Doesn't matter who we put in there. We just look better each game. I mean, right? I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Definitely. Not here. It's starting to happen. 3 in a row. Um, Welcome in here, Gun the News, and welcome Anthony as well, Republic of Arsenal podcast. So let's get it going. First of all, like I said, I want to say Happy New Year to everybody. Hope you're all going to have a good one, and we don't have to go far for it to be better than last year, of course. Um, so I've named this podcast Stage 2 of the Project Rebuild. Stage 1, as you know, was stabilizing our defense because only a couple of seasons ago we had the likes of Mustafi and Socrates at the back. Now we've got a few decent defenders. David Luiz not being the top one, but he's there. Gabriel and Pablo Mari. Rob Holding's actually stepping up as well. Stage 2 is starting to get these young players integrated into the team. And I'll start off with Gary. What did you think of that yesterday? 4-0 win against West Brom, our third win on the trot.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Once again, happy New Year to everyone. And yeah. So in terms of what we saw yesterday, if your stage 2 is the young players, then I think that's definitely what we're seeing, right? And it's good. That's what we've been wanting. We've been wanting to see a change because what we've seen for the first 10 games, this wasn't working, and it was good to see the youngsters. I call them youngsters, but I guess I'll say the non-seniors on the team get out there and actually show what they can do, and that's what
Boys
we've
to
been
men,
missing. Yes,
the
Boys to
definitely.
men.
youth.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Europa League basically, they got to shine there, and then they've been able to translate that into the same play that we're seeing. I mean, that game yesterday, is Dundalk at the level of West Brom? Probably not, but we made it look like it, right? I mean, we made it look like it, and we had opportunities. And we had opportunities. I know. but we,
Two
we were,
Irishmen up here can attest to that.
But I mean,
Yeah.
that's what everybody was saying, right? We're playing Dundalk, and we know we looked really good, but it's Dundalk. All right, so now we play West Brom, but it's West Brom now, right? Because they're not they're at the bottom of the table, but are they anywhere at the levels that we played in Europa League? And no. So I think we're playing better teams, and we're looking good. And we don't even have our full team in there. I mean, think about it.
And
We're missing
I-
our,
I'll even, I'll even say, Gary, they were throwing in against Chelsea last weekend. Now we're going to talk about maybe take a minute or two to talk about Lampard out and all that stuff. But is Chelsea the barometer that we're going to be measuring up against? They may not be the team that we thought they were, Gary.
No, I mean, you saw them today, and they looked, not so good today. I mean, I think what we're seeing is what everybody expected, right? A team full of talent, a manager who just can't put it together and can't figure out how to get the most out of his players. I mean, what's good about them? I mean, like they can't even overcome the coaching now. Usually your players sometimes can overcome either bad management and bad play structure, all of that, but they can't even do that. So they can't even make anything on their own, which is what we do have that, right? We've got players that can make something out of nothing, and they don't. They seem to need to have that structure in there, and I like what we have.
Yeah.
I like what we have, and we're still building. We're still building, right? We still got a lot of holes we want to fill, and we're doing good. So I'll take that right now.
Football being such a funny game, I hear. Chelsea are now in the position that we seem to have been in only 2 weeks ago, where their fans are likely calling for Lampard out.
I can explain to you exactly what went on there. You know, Arteta was being very persistent in having the likes of Willian, Rob Holding, Anthony Gary, and I. Every single, and even Ray. Whenever we look at the lineup and we see Xhaka, Holding, maybe Louise, William especially, all in the same team, immediately you know, oh shit. You know, it's like that GTA, it's like that Grand Theft Auto meme. Oh shit, here we go again. That's basically what it is. But I'm gonna keep the same energy. I don't. I still don't think Arteta's the guy that's going to take us to the next level. Although we have been seeing a change with three on three, 3-3. I mean, back to back to back. That's bloody fantastic. Especially with the likes of, you can say, oh, it's just West Brom, but West Brom held draws at Man City and could have won that game and held it against Liverpool as well, champions elect. So you can only beat what's in front of you. And from what I'm seeing, we've been crying out for the past 4 weeks before these 3 games. For the 4 games before, we said, give Emil Smith Rowe a shot. Let's see what he's got. It's surely it's not going to hurt us any more than we've been hurting a few weeks ago, where I was saying, I'm not going to watch. I'm going to Stevie Wonder every game we play. I'm just going to go missing. And I went missing, but I was still watching our club, And then you bring in Emil Smith Rowe and Bukayo Saka and even the likes of Martinelli. And look at the passion on the field. I loved that. I was missing that energy, that high energy all the time. Oh, it's bloody fantastic, guys.
Yeah. I'm just going to go to Anthony now, mid-sip, sipping the sweet taste of success, Anthony.
That's the taste of 9 points.
Give us your initial thoughts of yesterday.
Yeah, you know what? Went into that game yesterday, and even if we had come in off the back of a couple of poor results against Brighton and Chelsea, I think we all would have still looked at that game and said it's winnable. Now I know, Ray, myself, and yourself, we sort of said we probably won't have it as easy as it ended up being. We predicted, I think it was 2-0. I think both of us predicted 2-0.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was confident getting a result. I didn't think it would be as straightforward as it was. But look, give all credit to the lads. Like they really showed up on the night. And like that had to be tough conditions to play in. Like at times you couldn't even see on the TV what was happening. I can only imagine how bad visibility was there. And again, players probably playing through the pain. There's a lot of games in quick succession. I'm sure the muscles were aching last night. So like, again, you can't not be happy with that performance last night, irrespective of who the opposition was. Like I said, I tried to always look slightly outside the box instead of just focusing on okay, on paper we're the better team. I tried to look at, it's a game in quick succession. The conditions were pretty bad. We're playing away from home. We're still on the rebuild. We're still trying to find confidence. We have a lot of new players integrating into the team. There was a lot to it, so there's a lot to be positive about.
Yeah, definitely a lot to be positive about, Gary. Let's get your initial thoughts. The other title to this podcast is Team Balance Brings Growth. So Arteta, there's a case to be made whether he actually found this, he envisaged this team balance coming up, or he sort of happened across it in terms of suspensions and just the need to change after that Burnley defeat at home, especially.
Yeah, I mean, we've been asking. I mean, that's the thing I'm kind of weary about, right? Are we watching the plan? Is this the process? Or is this just like, desperation? I mean, I'm gonna temper my excitement a little bit, but I feel like hopefully every time he puts these players out together, that he sees what he wants, and it makes it easy for him to choose what to do next, right? I mean, he had to put William back in the game, didn't he? He had to.
That was the one for me. That was the one tarnish in the game. If you're going to persist with, this is one of the mistakes I think of the season, bringing Willian into the club. But why not try to kickstart Pepe instead of a Willian?
Yeah, I mean, Pepe's hopefully our longer-term solution if it works. If not, you want to showcase what he can do and get him out because you probably get more back for him, right? So, yeah, I kind of was. I looked at the first 30 minutes today again, just to kind of. I wanted to get more, but I couldn't. And yeah, I think Pepe should fill in pretty perfectly. I mean, if he likes to come inside as an inside forward, what's going on with the team right now should fit right into that, right? He should be able to get the ball inside the area that he likes, if that's what we want to do. I mean, I think his issue is he's not complete, and that's why we don't see him as much. But otherwise, he should flourish as far as his offensive, all the tool, everything he has in his toolbox, right, to come out there and be able to showcase that. I mean, I think from what I saw, Aubameyang, I don't know if he can keep up with what we're trying to do. I mean, he was late on pretty much every attempt that he had. I mean, he was late getting to everything. I don't, that's just not part of his game. But even when he got the ball out on the wing by himself, he still didn't look like he didn't look confident to take that ball, take the the defender on and make a play, and just lost the ball. So this should fit. This should fit Pepe. Like I said, I was a little surprised when I saw Willian come in, because I was like, what he came in and outside of the one shot he put on goal, everything else didn't look like it fit to what we were doing for the rest of the game, right?
We could have made it 5-6 or 7.
We had lots.
The energy was there, man, Gary.
We had lots of opportunities to score, which that's good, right? And we got 4 through, so I'll take the 4 if Whereas in the past we usually had like maybe 4 attempts at all on target. So this is where we want to be, and this is if we're beating teams at the bottom of the table like this, maybe that's not where we should be, and that's where we aren't right now. We're moving up, so we just need to continue to do this, especially when we get to the teams that are around our level, as we call it. So yeah, I guess some of the players that I kind of like at the bottom of my list of players, like the Hectors and the Xhakas, they fit it. I think you didn't even notice they were in the game as much because of everything that was going on. So I think you can put anybody in there, and the better they are, the better we'll be for it. So they make some of the same mistakes that they've done before. They just kind of get glossed over because of I think the pressure that we put on the teams, such that we're able to recover. We kind of got lucky. And when I looked at the one play where we kind of let one of their offensive players just run straight through the middle, and he put a shot on goal right at Leno, who was able to stop it. But outside of that, they didn't really have much going on. And I think they had to be cautious about it, because we didn't necessarily get much of a counterattack, but when we started attacking them and moving the ball forward, they had no answer for it. So I think we should see more and more of what we want to see. And I don't know why the Nelsons and the Willocks can't get involved in this as well, because they definitely have the legs for what we're trying to get out of our players. I think some of the older players, the senior players, just may not have that. So we'll see.
Willock did come on a little bit late in the game after 77 minutes for Emil Smith-Rowe, who put in a shift. We're going to get into the 4-0 win very, very soon and go into that in more detail. Lots of good stuff to talk about in that 4-0 win. Lots of good goals. But Mahir, the next couple of games represents a nice uptick in us being able to play ourselves back into confidence, back into form. The team is playing more confidently now. We've beaten Chelsea, which was the landmark victory last weekend. Went to Brighton. Ground out a win. It wasn't pretty in the first half. Lacazette came on and got the goal for us against Brighton. And yesterday, we saw the front four especially open up the game with Lacazette at the head of it. But now we go forward. We play the FA Cup game, which is probably a nice one to fit in now to give the likes of Partey, maybe Pepe, a game in there, and other players. Keep the confidence moving, and then about 12 days from now we go back to Crystal Palace at home, and then Newcastle at home, and after that we got Southampton away, which is a tough one, and then Manchester United at home again at the end of the month. So it's a nice build up to be able to move our season on and keep our season ticking.
Yeah, it is a nice build up. What I was thinking was I actually spoke to two other Gooners, my cousin Tahir Mukadam and a good friend of mine, Yusuf Sibda. You big Gooners also. And they were basically saying to me what we expecting from we didn't expect to beat Chelsea, which was wonderful, which could be the landmark to a start of something new, start of something great. And we've carried on, we've kicked on, and now we're looking at a point where I think our next two games was Crystal Palace and Southampton, if I'm not mistaken.
The next
Sorry,
two
Newcastle.
is Crystal Palace, and then we return to Newcastle. We played Newcastle in the cup and then in the league.
Yeah, I mean,
Southampton away.
Really, let's keep this. I'm going to keep the same energy and say let's take it one game at a time. I love when you guys, when we speak about it as the panel, as a family, that let's take it one at a time. Let's not get too gassed right now. Although from what we're seeing, it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful to see that the youngsters are now featured in place of the deadwood, supposedly the deadwood, as they would say. And the energy, I mean, coming from players even such as like we're gonna talk about it just now, but like that Emil Smith Rowe pass, I think it was to Saka or Lacazette for the finish. Whoo!
On the second goal.
Yeah, he like just turned, he just like took a boom, turned. Hello, assist. Here we go, my bro. Yeah, take it, brother. Finish.
Yeah,
it's so beautiful, man.
Anthony, let's take a quick look at these fixtures. Newcastle FA Cup game. We hopefully can play some of the players that haven't been getting the game. So, please God, it won't be Willie and it'll be Pepe, but we'll see what happens. And then we got a couple of home games against Palace, Newcastle. Tough one at Southampton. Who knows what situation they'll be in. And Manchester United are going to have a tough few games coming up against Liverpool middle of the month. So we get the benefit maybe of getting Manchester United at home.
Yeah, well, looking at the Man United fixture, going by our current form, that should be an easy 3 points for us. We were able to beat United the first time when we weren't.
Yeah, we always seem to do well against United.
We have to do it a second time.
Yeah, look, if we can keep the run of form going, I don't see why not. We weren't in the best of form when we played them the first time, so I'd like to think if we go into that game on a good run of form, building confidence with the injection of youth in the team now as well, like we'd be a different prospect for any team we've already played, Southampton included. I'd be fairly confident. Newcastle, we always seem to do pretty well against Newcastle. I'd be fairly confident against Newcastle, especially if we can beat them comfortably in the FA Cup. It might knock their confidence down for the league game. And like that, okay, we only got the draw against Southampton the first time round, but again, we're gonna hopefully be a different animal altogether when we play them next time round. Different players. We actually have an idea now of what to do when we get the ball in and around the box instead of just cross. You could see yesterday Smith Rowe is just, he looks like he's thinking 10 steps ahead of everybody else we have going forward. And for a guy so young, it's hard not to get excited about that. Like, obviously we got to give him time. It is tough. I actually seen Smith Rowe play live. Unai Emery had only taken over, and Arsenal came over to Dublin. Played a pre-season friendly against Chelsea, and Smith Rowe started that night. And I'd heard bits and pieces of him mentioned. There was a couple of guys in the crowd saying, that this lad is supposed to be quite good, and he was in the first half definitely by far our best player. And you could see there was two guys there on the night that really caught the eye, and one was Smith Rowe and one was for Chelsea. It was Hudson-Odoi. And you can see these two guys have serious potential. And again, like both players, like unreal talent. But you could see there and then you're like, you've got to keep this guy. You've got to get this guy in and around the team. Okay, you wouldn't have him playing first team week in, week out, but he's been in the first team now for a while. He's trained with the guys. He's been out on loan at Huddersfield. He's shown he's ready. And like we said before, these young guys have got a couple of minutes here and there in the Europa League, Dundalk and whoever else. Like West Brom, whatever about West Brom, they are what they are. It's still a step above the majority of the opposition that they would play in the group stages of the Europa League.
Yes.
And Chelsea, of course, so they're showing it now. This is what we wanted to see. We were asking the questions, can they take it to the next level? They're proving that they can. So look, these guys look like first team players now. It's still early days, but they're showing the signs that they're every bit as good as the guys that we have there, and they belong in the first team. So let's hope that they continue getting their chances, and they can only get better.
Yeah, it's just to continue on what Anthony was saying, Gary. It's scary actually how young these players are, but also how good they are right now. And we've kind of dismantled the right side of our attack in terms of Willian and Pepe. Saka's got to go in there, and Emile Smith-Rowe, and they seem to be dovetailing perfectly, helping our right side of the attack, thereby helping the balance of the whole team.
Yeah, and if that's the case, then hopefully Mainsley also can do the same thing, because I think he's just as versatile as Saka as far as wherever we put him. We have no qualms about him playing, because he's able to showcase. It doesn't matter if it's on his left side or on the right side. It doesn't matter, right? He's usually supposed to be on the left, right? Today he goes on his right. Doesn't make a difference, right? He still shows an attack. So I'm hoping that is, Arteta sees that and says, you know what, Mainsley, Maitland, or Mainsley as some of us call him, maybe he needs to be on the field. I mean,
I like the AMN.
Yeah,
I like the
AMN is good if I'm typing. It's hard to, it doesn't come off the tongue the same as Mainsley does. But Maitland-Niles, right? If he's on the field, I think we're better for it. We just got to find a spot for him. Is that next to Partey? Is that back on the back right? I don't think it matters to me where we put him. I mean, he came in and we scored 2 goals soon after he came in, so I don't think we lose much wherever we place him. Saka, yeah, he's bumped some people down, right? And that's it with the inclusion of Martinelli, right? Martinelli and Emile Smith-Rowe kind of helped out putting them more depth in there, and kind of shifted things around to where, okay, you know what? You put Aubameyang on the left, and I saw a comment in there about Aubameyang's his body language, and he did not look as happy as I thought he would for some of those goals. Even like he was he's enjoying himself out there, and he's happy to see his teammates, as the captain scored. It didn't look the way I thought it should.
Yeah, what I saw, Gary, was first couple of goals. So Tierney scores, and we're going to talk about Tierney, and then we're going to talk about the second goal. Aubameyang's obviously pumped and excited about celebrating with his teammates, but as it wore into the second half, Aubameyang's thinking, I could get a goal here, and it just didn't happen for him. And so his enthusiasm waned.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? He's coming off that side, so it's like, and I think there's one point in that first 30 minutes that I saw, Kieran's out there on the left, right there on the touchline.
Yeah.
If Aubameyang just makes a cut between the defenders, maybe he gets the pass. He kind of just sits there and does nothing. He doesn't attack the defense. So, Kieran takes the ball up the side and puts a cross in. He's still nowhere to be found. I don't know if this style fits him either, right? We're seeing a lot of goals going in.
That is the real problem.
And he's not there. He's not there either. So it's like, wow, all right. First it was we weren't getting attempts. Now he's getting attempts, and it's still not dropping, and he's still not there. So I don't know. When Martinelli plays next, and we look the same, he looked even stronger on the left side. I don't know. I think I think him being on the left side kind of allowed Kieran to showcase what he can do. Martinelli would probably slow that down somewhat, but then if not, that just means we're going to have an aggressive attack on offense if we have all 4 of those players out there. So, looking forward to that. Yeah, I think the young players are showing, and it's all going to come down to depth, right? How far,
Yeah.
how many, how long can they go for? And when they come out, I mean, we're not going to pull all of them out. It looks like Millsworth Rowe will probably be the last person to come out if he has to, right? I mean, I don't think we have an answer for him right now.
No. And what's opportune, I think, is in the schedule now. We have this FA Cup game, which gives these young players the great opportunity for 10 days of rest and then go again against Palace, against Newcastle. December and Robin are in here. Darren's in as well, and Sam Greenwood. So thanks for dropping in, everybody. So happy New Year, Darren. Good start so far for us. So it's a good start to the new year. Yeah, the situation with Aubameyang, we're gonna have to talk about that one a little bit as well. But let's start off here. I was talking to Rohan, I think yesterday, and funny enough, he pointed out to me, we get 2 more wins against Palace and Newcastle. We're at the halfway point in the season. 2 more wins will be 29 points for us, and that's not a bad point total after the schedule we've had and after the difficulties we've had to be at 29 points, or even 27 if we pick up 4 points from those 2 games. That's halfway to 60.
I
And
think we're actually 1 point better off than we were at this time last season.
there you go. So that's not bad. And with everybody taking points off of each other this season, 60 points could get you very close to the European spot. I'm not gonna jump in all the way and say top 4 yet, but we'll see what happens. February and March, it looked like difficult months for us as well, right, Mahir?
Yeah, of course. Like I say, we just have to, like we discussed, we just have to take our time with it, basically. I don't know
Yeah.
about the whole trusting the process, but one game at a time. So each victory is
Trusting the
going to.
process is trusting your eyes, and it's trusting what you see on the field. It's trusting the right players are in the right positions, and Arteta's got to start trusting his own eyes at this point in time now. And Gary's still got that suspicion that he's going to slip back into his old ways. Which bringing Willian on with 10 or 15 minutes to go in the game instead of Pepe, maybe the future may well not be Pepe, but you've invested a lot of more money in Pepe, so why not use him? But we've now accrued 34.5%, and if we win 2 more games, we'll be up to around 43.5%, and that's just a percentage value of the 66 points that Man United got for top 4. I'm not saying we're going to get 100% again, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he got 20 minutes. He came in for like 20 minutes. I mean, now 10 minutes. 10 minutes, I'll go. All right, that's what they did to Partey. All right, when he came in, he got 20, so he got more than
Yeah,
more than double.
more than he needs to.
Let's be fair to Willian, though. It was one of his better performances this season. Didn't he get a shot on goal?
He did put a shot on goal. He did, but everything around it just was like, all right.
By his standards, he did okay.
One shot on goal.
Shocking.
So, Anthony, we start off the game. Let's get into the review of the game. We start off quite well. A lot of our attacks are coming down the right-hand side. A lot of my notes are Saka, after 9 minutes, the through ball from Lacazette. He takes a shot that's saved. After 16 minutes, Saka, it's a cross-come shot, just evades Aubameyang on the back post. And, we've been talking about Aubameyang for a few minutes, and it's just that he's off. It seems like he's off the pace, right? He's not confident.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's nice to be able to say that an attack is coming from the right-hand side, because that's something we've been missing for an awful long time. We've been so left-hand sided, so it is nice to actually be able to say there's a bit of work being done down the right. But yeah, in terms of Aubameyang, I really am hoping he's just going through a bit of like what Lacazette went through. When a guy is off form, he's underconfident, it's just not happening for him. Now, the difference is I don't think Lacazette quite dropped the head the way Aubameyang has as of late. Again, if you have a guy that's maybe on form, he's probably going to find that extra yard. He's probably going to be able to put that ball in the back of the net. You could even see, making the comparison between the two strikers, Lacazette is taking his chances, and there's a certain kind of composure about him now that Aubameyang is definitely missing. It's crazy to think that a guy who scored as many goals as he has and had a season like he had last year, he's looking like I know, like Emil Heskey reincarnated or something. He's just, I don't know what is going on with him. And I like that people are talking about the body language. Like, to me, it was just a sign of a guy who's just pure frustrated. But he's only really got himself to be frustrated at, because, like I said, there's no reason why he couldn't have had a goal or two there yesterday. Just that little bit of extra effort.
Composure, maybe.
I would have thought if Nketiah was on the field, for example, I could have seen him being in the right place at the right time to maybe put a goal or two away, and that's the difference. You know, he's just lacking the basics. I guess it's a positive in a sense. He's getting himself into the positions, but at the same time, I would be concerned that he's getting into the positions and not finishing the chances. So he just needs to find that balance, and hopefully, you know, if he can score a goal or two, he might regain that bit of composure and confidence the way Lacazette has, because Lacazette looks a whole different player to the guy we had a couple of weeks ago. So hopefully Aubameyang can do the same.
Yeah, and we all remember Lacazette's reaction when he scored in that cup game. Almost the shock, a surprise that, first of all, we engineered a chance, and secondly, we scored off of the chance, and that work was down to Martinelli. Since then, Lacazette has scored 5 goals in 4 games. But just to get back to the game, Gary, we're talking about Saka. All of the attacks are coming down the right-hand side, it seems, and then on the left, as you talked about, Tierney. I think you were talking about a low cross that Tierney put in. It was cut out easily. Aubameyang struggling a little bit, but then Tierney enters into the game in the 23rd minute, and just before that, I think you mentioned Bernd Leno's save. We got to highlight Bernd Leno, the work that he's done as well, saving a penalty against Chelsea. So, this run that we're on has not been without our heroes at the back as well. But one hero that is our left back, Kieran Tierney, he kind of engineered that whole goal all by himself, Gary.
Yeah, I mean, it's no different than it looks similar almost in the sense of what we saw from Saka when he made that little spin and put the ball in, right? I mean, for a shot 2 games ago, I think it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I don't think he was getting much help on the left side, right? He's got Aubameyang in front of him, but that's not helping. Yep. And Aubameyang, and that's why he made, I think that's why he had to make that attempt, because, like I said, at that point, I kind of freeze framed it, and you got Kearney out on the left with, a defender on him. You've got Lacazette kind of in between that defender and another one. He doesn't make a run, so Tierney decides, you know what, I'm going to go and attack him, and kind of push the ball on behind him, and is able to run it down, and then come back in, and and Aubameyang is still not attacking the goal at that point. I mean, so I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it's like he's still not attacking, even when players are making those moves. And Kearney, I mean, I guess we'll get to it as far as man of the match, and there's Kearney and Saka basically put in some work, yesterday. I mean, both of them.
I mean, I can tell you, Gary. I put out a Twitter poll, and Tierney did get the majority of the votes.
If you like some of the work that when you think about what Saka is doing, a lot of times that came from Kearney making that cross into Saka, or a cross all the way to into Laka, or all the way across to Saka sometimes, and that's where it was coming from, because he wasn't getting any help there, and so he looks up, he doesn't see Aubameyang, so he's like, all right, the cross comes in, Saka's out there, because we're swinging it pretty quickly, and then he's able to attempt. So a lot of times it was Kearney that kind of had his foot on the ball before Saka does, and then makes that attempt, and he gets the ball all the way across. And yeah, it's good when you have multiple players that you can kind of go, you know what, you take one of them off and maybe the game doesn't go the same way. But they both played well yesterday, and that was good to see.
There's a couple of things, Gary, there with Tierney. We saw Tierney's MO used to be get down to the left, get to the byline, swing in across. He had the opportunity to cut in the Chelsea game. He took that opportunity to get into the box. I'm thinking we're seeing a player that's, first of all, he's free of injury. Secondly, he's coming into some form. Kieran Tierney is, and we all love him because he's wearing those sleeveless shirts. He's not wearing any kind of.
What do you mean he's wearing sleeveless shirts? He's wearing a jersey. He's not wearing long sleeves. You gotta.
Right here.
He's like, this is summer weather. Come on.
Yeah, it is summer weather, and he alluded to that as well. You know, in Scotland, he sees this weather a lot more than he doesn't see it. You know, but this is a player that's coming into his own, and he's starting to think, yes, I can cut in, and I can affect the game from, say, the corner of the box rather than the byline. You know what I mean? You get
this is what we're saying. This is what we're saying about Hector on the right hand side. That's where his positives were. That he goes in there and he makes that he takes the ball down that right side and he's able to make some. This is what we wanted to see. We've seen a lot more now from Tierney, right? But I mean, also some people are saying that. Sorry, also some people are saying he's actually playing more in the position that he's more comfortable in. Right, he's been playing center back a lot, right, out there on the left, and not necessarily playing a wing back. So, once again, we put our players in positions that they can succeed in, and they're succeeding. Voila.
And you give them that base, Gary. You give them Pablo Mari, who I'm going to big up a little bit because I've been a fan of Pablo Mari from the start. And you give him Rob Holding, and you give him that stage one, which is defensive stability, that now it frees up Tierney to go forward a little bit more. And we're seeing it. And his teammates are razzing him a little bit. Gary said that was a cross, right? They were saying that shot was a cross.
There's no way that was a cross. I mean, no, I believe the player. If he said he was shooting it, he was shooting it. It's just like Saka. Right. I mean, you look at it and like, where else was he going? There was nothing except for the far corner to look at and put the ball on. So,
and none of us were thinking at that point that Tierney's not that player. He's going to have that shot. Here, he's just not that player. But maybe this is a player who's coming into his own now. Like I said, free of injury, he's coming into form. And the other thing as well, I think he's growing into the team. He's going to accept this responsibility on himself as being one of the leaders in the team, possibly making himself a step closer to being, potential captain of the future.
Yeah, I could see him as future captain. I mean, he's got those qualities in him. The fire, the will of fire. I like saying people have a will of fire because that's exactly what it is. I mean, and like you say, he could be evolving as a player. He could be, say, for instance, seeing the team's energy, right? And saying, okay, nothing's going to change. So guess what? I'm going to be the one that's going to make that change. So instead of me being what you guys think, which is that left wing back that's always, he's got at least crossing ability on him. He's quite deadly. That unfortunately Aubameyang hasn't been able to get on the end of very much. But maybe seeing it more now like, cut in and play a flat ball along the lines or get as close to. So say, for instance, he's running on the left-hand side and here's the goalpost, right? And he would much rather cut right in, like near where he can provide the assist to for somebody, like I said, for an easy tap in. That's just the type. And I mean, I honestly think he's a gem. He's a gem. Him, Saka, Martinelli, Emil Smith-Rowe, we won't put too much pressure on them because we love them right now and let them progress and get better and better and better.
Yeah, exactly. As Robin said here, Darren, we have a diamond here, and like Darren said, I think the whole team did well, and we need more of it. Gary will definitely echo those sentiments. Give us just a little bit more each game, right, Gary?
A little bit more. I mean, and that's. I mean, we always used to say. I mean, certain players are hurting us, and now we don't even see them in the game. We don't even see some of their negative plays don't even show up. And I mean, because I looked at it and went through like I said, I was only getting through the first 30 minutes, and there were from our usual suspects. There were suspect plays that were made, but it didn't really matter. It didn't really matter. We were able to overcome everything that came out.
And
so I think
Gary, that's consequence of balance and having good young players. You got Emile Smith-Rowe, Saka, Martinelli when he comes in. Lacazette's pulling everything together up front. But those players can offset the negatives, let's say, the negative plays of Xhaka or Ceballos even at more times.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see much from Ceballos that was as much a mistake, and that's probably more because I'm jaded a little bit,
But also because
you usually get my ire when they did make a mistake. So,
but that's because you're enthusiastic about looking at Emile Smith-Rowe and Saka. You don't see Ceballos' faults as quickly,
Yeah.
Charlie Harris, thanks for joining us. Mahir, I'm going to wait for Mahir to turn his camera back on. Evening, boys, and Mr. Prison Break, right there.
Yeah.
Good to see you again, Charlie.
Hi, Gary. Come on.
3 points off Chelsea with 2 games to go till halfway. We could be ahead of them despite our worst start to the season in 45 years. And Mahir, I'm going to go to you with this one. I saw a tweet the other day. The worst Arsenal team is somehow 6 points off the best Tottenham team in years.
I love laughing. I love laughing at them, and I mean, I'm not a Scouser myself, but I mean, when I think they're playing Liverpool next. Liverpool is playing them next. Next
Liverpool
week.
are playing Southampton, but who's playing Liverpool?
Oh no, Southampton tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next game after that. I mean. And that lot, I mean, I love laughing at them, but they've got a really good squad, to be honest with you. And I wish we had a
couple of their players. We'll take 1 or 2.
I'm going to keep exactly. Maybe Son. Maybe and maybe Hurricane also, but
maybe not.
Anyway, that's not the point.
No.
Maybe just Son. Maybe just Son.
But
that's not the
Son.
point. What I'm trying to say.
We're not taking that guy. Sorry, no.
Come on. So
I really was honestly teasing you guys.
1-0 up, a wonderful goal from Kieran Tierney, and then Anthony. The second goal is a killer. It kills West Brom, but it also is a killer in terms of visually. It's just a pretty goal for Arsenal.
Beautiful.
Yeah, unreal. It feels too long since we've seen that. That's something we used to get spoiled with almost every week with Wenger sides. So it was a bit of a throwback kind of a goal, really Wenger-esque sort of football. That really nice to watch. One touch move kind of football. But it just goes to show when you add a little bit of creativity, suddenly, the likes of Smith-Rowe becomes the key that can unlock these things now. So we've been missing that all season. Obviously, we have the fundamentals, we have the bases there. The players have the talent. Sometimes you just need that little bit of added quality that's able to unlock this kind of a play. And finally, it looks like we have that in the team. Now, we need to obviously, keep a cool head. We can't expect that he's going to be, the player. He can't do it week in, week out. He's still young. He's still learning. We need to, I think, still dip into the transfer market and bring someone else in that's going to help with that.
Yeah,
like we can't just say, okay, well that's cool. We have Smith-Rowe. We've saved ourselves 50 million. We were going to spend on somebody like Aouar. We still need to make the investments.
We still need to go and get Aouar.
Yeah, 100%. We still need somebody there. Like, what age is Smith-Rowe? Is he 19?
20. 19, 20.
Yeah.
The guy is still so young. We can't put all of that on his shoulders. He's given us little glimpses of what he can do, and it's easy to get overexcited by it. And it's easy, especially as fans, we see something like that and we say, well, that's it, problem solved. There's no point in going out and signing anybody else. You know, you have to give
Injuries,
these guys time.
suspension,
Yeah,
fatigue,
and
all of
look,
those things are
like everything, he will eventually have a dip in form. It's only natural. Everybody does.
Let's not forget, Anthony, this is not a normal Premier League season with everything that's going on with COVID. Still only 3 substitutes being allowed. You can have a whole team on the bench, but you can only use 3 of them.
Yeah,
you're going to get these types of injuries.
And with the way he wears his small socks, I definitely fear someone's gonna take his shins off him at some stage. It doesn't look like he's even wearing shin guards at times, so I worry. I'm concerned about that.
And Gary, these kind of players, they like to live on the edge a little bit, especially Saka, Martinelli. They want to reach, they want to stretch and reach for that ball that's just beyond them. You know, we all got that shock from the Manchester City goalkeeper that, went in on Martinelli pretty hard. So much so that his shin pad ended up behind the shins, on his calf muscle. We have to, and we're going to talk about it probably after we preview the game, but we do have to go into the transfer market a little bit as well, Gary.
Okay. All right. We'll get to that. But yeah, like you said, that play, I don't think there was a chance. Everything was so fluid there that the defense never really had a chance to, put a foot in wrong to put us down. Everything just worked perfectly. I mean, as I went through that play, Hector makes the pass out to I think Emil Smith Rowe, who gets it into Talaka, and then he makes that curl out, and then I guess Saka makes a pass into Talaka, and then he makes a curl inwards, and then they come together at the end, and it's like, yeah, that's the way it's supposed to work, right? Everybody's moving, and within like seconds, we've got a goal, right?
Yeah, within the space of probably 6 seconds, you have 6 players getting a touch on the ball, or 6 touches. Bellerin into Emil Smith Rowe, he makes the really quick round the corner pass to Saka.
And it's the anticipation that I'm going to make this particular run, and my friends are going to make that play, right?
That was the sound of my ear getting excited there, I think.
That is the sound of the turn. That is the sound of the turn that Emil Smith. No, he just gave the
I
think we all made that sound watching that
goal. That's how you draw it up in the playground, right? You just make the run, and the ball will be there. Don't worry about it. And that's exactly what we saw on that right-hand side. And, does that – now we know that so is Pepe bumped again, right? Is this like that Fulham game where, Willian came out and showed Pepe, this is how you do it. And then we expected to see it in for Pepe, and then we didn't. So I'm hoping Pepe sees this, because eventually I think people are thinking, you know what? We still need depth on the – we don't have a right back for depth now, right?
Yeah.
We need depth there now, whereas we have 3 players that actually can play out there, but we feel like we only got 1. Look at and there's Alex.
Alex with his personalized shout outs. I hope there's one for Anthony and Ray too. All right, and Anthony's the last one.
Yeah. Anthony's new to the channel, so he's probably going, "Oh, who's this guy? He shows up for wins. What's up with that?" He doesn't know the contract, but that's all right.
He's not a real fan. He only comes on when we win.
Yeah. Alex, happy New Year to you, and we're gonna launch the challenge. We are gonna have
Anthony gets some shade too. There you go. Everybody gets a piece of it.
We are gonna have an podcast challenge. I hear, don't get dunked with water. Don't do the ice bucket challenge, because we're gonna win this one. And Alex, I'll be in touch with you as to what we're gonna do. But stay tuned for that. Anthony, you just got a shout out there from Alex, so big up, Alex. My notes, Anthony, we win at halftime, right? We're gassed, 1-0.
Yep.
Great goal from Tierney. Great team goal from Saka. Two different kinds of goals, but they're both brilliant. My notes say confidence and killer instinct. We need to continue in the second half. Actually, my notes are around 33 minutes here. We go 2-0 up. I want to see this Arsenal team not sit back now. Want to go for the killer
Go for
touch
the
here.
kill.
Yeah. And in typical Arsenal fashion, we come out for the second half and we concede.
No, see what?
Well, we conceded, but it was ruled out.
Yeah. No,
Oh,
that is right.
Yeah.
I
I think
also
it was
was
about
watching
48
highlights and I
minutes.
saw that and I was like, wait a minute, what the hell happened there? Oh, okay, it's pulled off.
Offside.
That
I mean,
was,
there were lapses on the defense, which is, that's the thing. There's still lapses on the defense. Like that play, even though he was offsides, the ball comes off the post, and we're still nobody's. They're able to run free through the field with nobody defending them, manning them up or anything, and that's why they were able to get the second shot in. But yeah,
I think that was the wake up call for us, because I think we came out maybe thinking, it's going to be a pretty handy 45 for us. Probably the best thing that could have happened. They put the ball in the net, it's disallowed, and then we kind of go, oh, hang on, this isn't over just yet. Like a goal that early, that was 48 minutes in, like a goal then that changes the whole complexion of the game, and suddenly it's as you kind of expect. It was the same against Chelsea. We went in 2-0 up against Chelsea, so you kind of know coming out for the start of the second half that team is going to go on the hunt for the next probably 10 minutes or so, until you can kind of steady the ship, calm it down a little bit. And it was kind of no different there last night. So yeah, it was a lucky escape. It could have put a complete different complexion on the game, but it worked in our favor this time. But they need to get that. I don't know what it is. It seems to be a trait of Arsenal sides over a number of years. We just seem to be missing that killer instinct. Like, say, like for example, a Man City team, if like when they smell blood, they're going to go for it and they're going to finish the team off six goals.
7.
Like we just don't do that. I know. Okay, in the end, we did end up with 4 goals, but on another night, maybe conditions played a part in it. But another side would have that game would have been over at halftime. It probably would have been 4-0 at halftime.
Yeah, now that can be excused maybe for the conditions. Gary, after 52 minutes, Rob Holding and Gallagher seem like they're on course to have a collision in the box. But Rob Holding, I think very sensibly, sort of pulled out of it a little bit at the last moment, realizing the conditions. And Gallagher was ready to go down and did go down, I think, in that situation in the box.
yeah. I mean, I don't remember that play exactly.
It was one of those where the attacker's anticipating the defender coming in.
And I guess you have to know that, right? And when you're in around the box, that the offensive players are just going to go down at the slightest touch. So do your best to play the spot and not the man, and you'll be fine. And we got we didn't get lucky, but that just worked out perfectly from us, right? So yeah. No, that was good, and I think the way that the first half ended with Hector getting that yellow. Yes. I think that also, because when I was watching that, doing the watch along, I was like, well, he's got that yellow, and that's, we do have a lead, but man, I don't want him to have to come out because he makes a rash challenge, and later on in the half, he does come out, and we kind of get back our momentum after that as well. So,
Gary, those watch alongs seem to be a lot more fun now that we're winning, right?
Yeah, well, they were fun either way, but they're fun when we're winning because we can actually talk about the game as opposed to other things. So,
Robin said, this is a consequence of Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe. They know each other's game and they know each other where they're going to be on the field. And Arsenal is benefiting now from that relationship. I'm going to say Lacazette is benefiting as well. From that relationship, from playing in the Europa League. And Philip Luther Howell is also benefiting We're benefiting from him not watching the last 3 games because the guys have scored 8 goals.
I was gonna say to you guys, you know what's funny?
Thanks, Dad.
I was actually in my group.
Everybody's
Gary,
got to do their part, right, Gary?
Yes, thanks, dude. Thanks.
Gary Ray, yeah, guys. I was actually in Cape Town for Wolves, North London Derby. I think it was Everton and somebody else. Stay away from the games coming up as well. Robin is so funny. But shout out to everybody that's joining us and the people that are watching the
Yeah,
reruns.
we've got a good crew in
Oh,
here.
yeah,
Right? We've got
smash the like
18,
button.
18 people in here now, and Anthony's just back from a bathroom break, drinking too many beers, celebrating.
I
And
think
the live videos.
we're gonna have to change my nickname to Toilet Break. I can't handle the live sessions. I tell you, I never get a job in Sky Sports because every time they cut to me for a bit of analysis, I'd be in the
Oh,
toilet.
I'll be gone.
You just have to wear some different kind of Under Armour apparel. You know what I mean? Like soak all right up in there.
Listen,
I'll
I was gonna say to you
I'll have to
guys.
start doing videos from the toilet, maybe.
Yeah, no.
We've got the in the bed with Tony, and then we're gonna have
Yeah.
in a little room,
Oh,
in a little boys' room with Anthony. You know,
Super
light from
sub.
the bathroom.
Super sub. You just need a super
God.
sub.
Oh,
No, you know
God,
what's funny? I was actually in Cape Town, guys, the past 4 weeks. I needed to go home for a bit to go do something urgently that side. Ryan Reynolds, yes. Yeah, up top. Our
Oh, no.
own resident Ryan Reynolds.
Did you ever watch the In-Betweeners?
Yeah,
you
yeah,
want-
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but you know what? You got to work
Neil
on
from
your.
the
It
In-Betweeners.
looks a little too. It
I
looks a
like
little
that.
too good. It's
There
like,
you go.
what are you
Yeah,
doing?
no.
There you go.
Look
There
at
you
that
go.
head, you know. You gotta grow it out a
gotta
little bit.
check that out.
We lost all our games when I was actually in my hometown of Cape Town.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I come back, we're beating Chelsea. We're beating Brighton 1-0. We're going on, I don't know what happened, eh? It seemed like it was cursed, like I was meant to come back, but I actually didn't want to leave Cape Town, though. Like Philip said, it's sometimes a gift and a curse. We are.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Don Juan, sometimes you got to sacrifice for your team. Don Juan, thanks for joining us. Hello, guys. Long time no see. Why has it been such a long time, Don? Come back and see us once in a while. Good to see
And
you.
shout
there.
out to Boots also. I heard from Boots recently, guys.
Yeah.
He's doing well, and he's just, he's very happy with the outstanding performance from our youngsters. So shout out to Boots TX as well, man.
And yeah, I'm just saying the in-betweeners. Yeah, Anthony, it's pretty close. Yeah. Where, Gary, where do we go from here with Nicolas Pepe now?
You know what we were
FA
talking
Cup
about?
game.
There were crazy. Alex had crazy thoughts about sitting Aubameyang, and I thought it was crazy when he said that. And right now, if we sit Aubameyang, nobody will miss him.
Yeah.
Pepe,
Yeah.
that's a lot of money wasted if we can't play them and get something out of them. But
Yep.
I'll take the wins over them struggling to make ends meet with whatever their play is when we see it on the field.
Gary, we have a whole forward line. We could put Aubameyang, Willian, and Pepe out there, and that would be a lot of money on the field with maybe not a lot of end product.
One of the most expensive front threes in Premier League football.
I think
It's not number
Pepe
one.
might be the one to go because he's. I think he might be the one to go because when he can do that, I believe he can do some of the things Saka can do. I believe he can do that. I've seen him do it for us, so why not? I mean, I think, like we said, it's just a full package thing. He doesn't bring 100%. He gives us maybe 25%, and that's not even that's spread out so thin that you don't even see it. So a lot of people think he might be gone in the summer because why not? We're not getting anything out of him. If we can get some money from him, we can use to solidify other parts of the team.
I wonder how that would work since we got him on a need to pay like a installment type buzz. I wonder how that would work out. Like if we
I think
probably
that's
just pass those installments over to somebody else, right?
I think his performances are coming in installments as well.
And we keep missing them because they're not happening on the field.
Yeah,
When
there's something
they
wrong
come on,
with
he's probably on the
postman.
bench or something.
Something wrong with the postman there. No, I mean, Lille are going to get their money irrespective, and we'll see what happens when it comes to us. Either we start reigniting him again, and to Gary's point, these players now they've got competition. They've got some real competition on the field. Pepe, Aubameyang, Willian can wander around if he wants. He can wander the hallways of Colney. Willian can. Don't wander around on the field, please, William. Robin, Arsenal need to find the midfielder and knits the right and left hand sides of the team together. Possibly a 2-footed player who reads the game a few passes ahead. That sounds almost like Emile Smith Rowe to me,
Santiago Cazorla replacement, like a proper replacement.
I don't know if that player exists.
Oh man, I miss
I mean, you look at what he does, and you look at the way the game is played now. I don't see it. Am I missing? Who do I see that does that now?
Jack Grealish.
Like Cazorla style, though.
Not quite, but like he's full of energy, moves about the pitch. He's everywhere, and with him and Smith Rowe, they got the whole sock vibe going on. Be kind of cool.
I thought the 80 million for him at the end of the year was really bad, and I'm like, I don't think that wouldn't have been a bad move to make. Now it's gone up, right? I mean,
yeah. Well, look, put it into perspective. A couple of years ago, Spurs almost had him for I think 18 million.
Wow.
I think it goes to show.
All right, so now we're getting deep into the second half here. It becomes the not the Pepe show, the Laka show. I'll go to Lacazette down here, our resident Lacazette. On 60 minutes. Yeah, really great play here. Saka on the right-hand side now. Bukayo Saka, he shimmies a little bit on the right side, puts in a great cross. Ajayi's all ends up. He tries to clear that ball. It hits the upright, comes perfectly back to Emile Smith Rowe. And I kind of wanted Emile Smith Rowe to get that goal to cap his performance. Great shot from him, keeps it alive, but it falls perfectly to the one and only Laka, and he puts it away. Your namesake, you're looking like your doppelganger there.
Look, I had to give you guys 2 goals, show you that I'm hungry. I'm still available. I may not be my old self, may not be banging it in every single week, but I'm trying my best. Look, our captain. I love the guy. I would love for him to come off form like this, and maybe it just takes 1 or 2 goals. Come against Newcastle. Maybe play a few minutes in the Newcastle FA Cup game.
FA Cup, yeah.
And then I'd have Laka personally when we play Crystal Palace, and then bring Aubameyang also into the game, but like integrate him maybe like 20 minutes with 20 minutes to go.
Take him out of the firing line a little bit. Take him out because, as Gary said, we have 4 players that we can put in there.
There we go.
Everything knits together, Anthony. Everything moves quite well with Lacazette.
Yeah, and I think like generally, I spoke about this earlier. The podcast I recorded, I touched a little bit on the importance of a captain in the team and how difficult it is to actually drop a captain. But I think if you look at Aubameyang in the sense of being undroppable because he's a captain, I think if anything, it's quite easy to drop him in that sense because he doesn't really offer you what a traditional captain offers. Sometimes you keep a captain in the team because, okay, he might not be your star performer, your most naturally talented player. Like I'm thinking the likes of Jordan Henderson at Liverpool. He's not the best player, but he's kind of the glue that holds it together. I don't see that from Aubameyang. So I don't think you take him out of the team and you're going, right, well, okay, he's off form, but we're taking that leader out of the team. Like, I don't see that from him. So I think if anything, it's not as difficult to remove him just because he's our captain. I think you get that from guys like Tierney and other players, even Xhaka, will offer you more than what Aubameyang does in terms of a leader. So I think you can at least eliminate the whole, well, he's the captain aspect of it. And going on the form, like if Martinelli comes back fit and healthy, ready to go, you know, again, going off of merit, he should have that spot irrespective of Aubameyang being our captain.
On form. Yeah,
100%.
The whole thing about captain is, Anthony said, Gary, you know, the importance of captains is becoming less and less now as teams become more and more modern, bigger squads, better players. Your captain's really just the spokesperson or the talisman of the team. They're not necessarily there to win games for you, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's good and bad part, I guess, because in our instance, it's good because if we had to lean on Aubameyang, we'd be in trouble, right? But you need a leader, right? Somebody that, you know, and that's usually who gets the captain's badge, right? Is somebody the leader on the field, no matter what, and that's usually why it's one of the defenders, because they're communicating the whole game, right? Or the goalies, because they're communicating the whole game, and that's kind of what you see, right? And we're not seeing that from him. He barely communicates the way we need. He's not able to do it all by himself. We know that, and he is not making the extra. You know, like Anthony said, he's not making that extra effort that we need to get his foot on the ball in the right spots to score. So, it's kind of not helping, which kind of sucks for him. But you know, the plan, I think, is out there. He needs to find a way to get himself in there and figure out how he can better himself for it and be able to be part of it. Yeah, I think. I've heard, you know, maybe he should just pull the ban and let him just work on himself for now. You know, because that's too much pressure, and he doesn't come out and speak to the press anyway. So, you know, like yesterday Tierney was talking right after the game. You know, in a big game like that, the captain would be talking about it and like kind of talk about what the team did here and there. And yesterday it was Tierney that was actually the one out there kind of leading us, right? Starting things off, making something out of nothing.
Yeah, and definitely helps.
And that's what you want, right? I mean, like I said, a lot of the times when you saw what was going, you know, you saw the end product, a lot of that stuff came from the left side and swung over to the right and vice versa, right? And kind of Tierney was part of that. So, yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, it should be easy, right? It should be easy. Your captain's struggling. You need to offload some things on him. There's a blue room. There's like a blue room over here. There's a blue room party going on it's on my right hand side, I guess, or your left hand side, if I know how you're looking at this.
Yeah, I'm basically. I'm blue, dabba-dee-dabba-die. Sorry for the blue light effect, guys, but yeah.
The assemble said the way Aubameyang is playing, they can play Pepe up front. And I don't rate looks good, but no real end product. United don't make mistakes often. That was one of the mistakes. If he drops Aubameyang like he's dropped Ozil, his higher ups will start asking questions. You can't just discard. Yeah, you can't discard over 500,000. But what you can do is take him out of the firing line a little bit, and you know, hopefully that's what Arsenal and Arteta will do. The cup game might be a nice distraction. You change the competition, you kind of change the focus of the player. And this is something that Aubameyang was instrumental in winning last season.
Yeah, that's the question, right? That's the question. When we said why did they re-sign Aubameyang, right? And not if his process or his plan is what we're seeing right now, then why did you sign Aubameyang? Right? Because right? That's it doesn't work, right? We're gonna have, you know what we're gonna have to do, because I like the blue light. I don't have one, but maybe we can find. You know, we all get all different colored lights, and then we can.
No, you know what's funny?
Like a cycle, so it's like, you know, it's like a disco party.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? The fact that I didn't want to go all the way downstairs, man, and it's a bit hot here in South Africa. It's quite humid at night.
Yeah, I was checking. It's like 27 degrees Celsius.
It's hot. It's hot. Believe you me, you don't sleep with. You basically sleep only in your boxes because it's just that hot. And your spouse, I mean, that's a different story. But I mean,
I'll
with
never
me,
get
I basically switched my light on, and I switched on my TV, but there's no signal or anything, man. I don't have a box. I don't want to switch on my Xbox. I'm too lazy, so I just left it on the blue light. So yeah, please excuse the effect, guys.
Yeah.
Don Juan's having some issues here. Damn it! I ordered chicken shish and they bought me a chicken dollar instead. Roll with it,
Oh,
Don, roll with it.
Nightmare.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
If you have a beer to go with it, it all sounds good to me, right?
Yeah.
All right. So listen, Lacazette scores another goal. Aubameyang breaks, feeds the ball to Tierney, and it's crossed over, and he puts it in with his knee. You know, that's what happens when you're a striker and you're
close.
in form. The goals flow, and that's how it happens for you. But listen, we should talk about the man in the match, and we got to call out probably 3 or 4 different players. So, Anthony, you want to start us off there?
Yep. This week I'm actually going to give it to someone different. I think I've given it to Saka every week. So I'm going to go Tierney this week.
Yeah.
It's hard. Look, there was 3 or 4 you could have given it to, but Tierney was nearly, for me, getting man of the match just for the warm up alone, where everyone was going out wearing the Under Armour and the gloves, and he's out there just in the short sleeve shirt. He's shopping in Tesco. He's helping all women upstairs with their groceries. He's just a legend.
Gentlemen.
He's just an absolute legend. I'd say, like, Mahir's talking about sleeping in his boxers because it's 27 degrees. I'd say Tierney's at home right now sleeping in his boxers.
Tierney's out there.
Minus 14 or something.
Is he cryogenically? Is he our first cryogenic frozen footballer?
Yeah, that's what we need, man. He's cool. He's ice cool, you know. He's just.
Oh man.
We need guys like him in the team. He's just a hard, like, just a lad's lad. Do you know what I mean? There's no messing about. There's nothing flash about him, and that's what you want as a captain, sort of. You know, like Aubameyang is all flash. It's all flash cars and, you know, designer clothes, and like, that's fine.
You want some of that on the field.
You want some.
Do you know who I wish was like Tierney? I wish Bellerin. I wish Mr. Zoolander himself, instead of modeling and talking loud, performed on the pitch the way Tierney did. He would be a baller, just like Tierney. And as I've said before, hashtag Bellerin out. Get Bellerin out of the club, man. Find another right back.
I think sometimes, like, Bellerin is just, I think, too many distractions outside. Like, he's an activist and he's a fashionista or whatever you want to call him. And then he's
Get out of here,
like that. He went vegan a little while ago, and look, nothing against going vegan and stuff, but to me, he doesn't seem like the same player since.
No, he's like a jelly baby. He's soft like a jelly baby. I can go to the shop and get the Bellerin in every single one of my packets. Every single.
I think we're gonna have to suffer. I think we're gonna have to suffer with Bellerin a little bit more because, you know, like
we don't have to. That's the thing. We don't have to. Why do we have to settle with it?
What about the Mainsley?
We've got 2 backs that we can put on the right-hand side if we need to.
That's not the thing. We have to suffer.
No, I don't want
answer the question.
I don't have to. I mean, you've got Cedric, you got Mainsley, you know, or sorry, you know, you got AMN, Maitland.
I'm gonna go with Maitland.
He goes by many names.
Or I'm a
penalty kicker, you know.
He's the bird whisperer, isn't he? The bird whisperer.
Yeah, that's right. He's the bird whisperer.
Mr. Steal Your Girl. Better fashion model.
I think we have. I mean, there's no. Like I said, the game yesterday overshadowed the 11 players that we had out there. You didn't know that we actually had, you know, what somebody said was freeloaders. You know, passengers.
Yeah.
You know, some people that weren't bringing it. We had at least probably 3, I think, right? Maybe 4 if you add Ceballos to that, right? But I think we have enough all around that we overshadow all of our negatives.
Yeah, it makes up for the deficiencies.
Whereas
Yeah.
before there was nobody, we couldn't do that, and then it even looked worse, right? Now, even if they do it, it doesn't matter because maybe we're up 2-0, and it's just we got lucky there. But yeah,
Like
I mean,
we have Saka, we have Emil Smith Rowe, we have Lacazette playing well. So your nominee for man of the match. And
yeah.
if you want to give a shout out,
So like we said, it could be Saka every week. I mean, you go through all three of the players, the Tierneys, the Saka, and Millsworth Rowe, and they all have a part to play in this, right? They all have a part to play with this. I definitely think it's I'm gonna go. You said Tierney, right, Anthony? So I'm
Yeah.
gonna go Saka this because I was gonna be different. He was putting in crosses, realized nobody was gonna get the end of any of his crosses. So then he said, you know what? I'll be the one to receive the crosses now. And then he got out there and he did that. He 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 comes back and you can see he comes back and kind of helps out. I think there was one play where he came back, made a play, and then took it forward a lot of down the right hand side. Was scripting that one out, and he does that a lot. All right, same as Tierney did on the left side.
Yeah.
They're able to take that ball pretty much
Yeah.
half the way down the field and create something each time. So Saka gets it. I mean, he can probably, like you say, he can get it every week. But I think if we're going to spread it around, he also gets it.
Yeah, we're getting a couple of people in the comment section, and people in the comment section, give us some because we're gonna have a split decision here. I think.
Oh, I just did it because I want to do something different.
But I agree with you. I'm gonna go
close.
next, and I agree with you. I agree. Saka is generational talent.
It's actually that close a decision though, because if Aubameyang had got on the end of that Saka ball, it'd be a different conversation altogether because you'd be talking about, the assist as well. So, sometimes players are a bit unfortunate. Their overall performance is a bit marred by the end product that is or isn't finished by a teammate. But it's a
That sounds like the
thin.
Ozil debate here.
Yeah,
we definitely wasted a lot of his scoring up the chances that he created. That was one of the things that disappointed me. Is like, you've got this player here and you don't have anybody at the end of his passes, right? And it's like, wow.
But it's a great headache to have at the end of the game, not being able to pinpoint who was your best player because you have a group. Whereas I think games in the past, it was too easy to kind of go, well, he was the only one that was trying. We give him our man of the match. This is nice. It's nice kind of going, right, well, Jesus, there's 3 or 4. Who do I give it to? It's a nice feeling.
I'm rightfully going to make the case for Saka, and Tony had said either Tierney or Saka. So, and the poll that I put out overwhelmingly went for Tierney. So I think we're leaning towards Tierney. I'm going to bring my here in blue light.
Sure.
Oh, the blue light's gone. What's going on? Hey, the club is shut down.
No, sorry. Curfew. Actually,
He got kicked out of strip club.
There you go.
yeah, it is a bit much for me. So I was just like, oh, hold on. I have to go home to wifey now, man. Chill out.
We want to talk about the talent.
Like that, first and 25.
Oh man, sorry about that.
Here, we want to talk about
Good job by Daniel in not forcing anything.
Who's your man of the match right here?
Obviously, we know it is.
William.
Our left back. I mean, jeez, man, jeez. Yeah, Tierney. Because I just, the thing I'm loving so much is seeing passion. Now, if you guys know me by now, which you do, in life, I like positive vibes, man. Guys that aren't flashy, the lad's lad. Those are my favorite type of people. They perform when they're at work. They perform. They perform to their best ability, no questions asked. And they're like, you look up to these guys like, wow, man, just the passion that they have, that will of fire. Like I said, people with wills of fire. And in Tierney, you can see all of this all the time. Even people like Saka. Saka, if I had been on, sorry, I missed out on so many episodes of the podcast. But it was during that all that turmoil, man. There's backroom fighting. This one leaked that. This one said this to Arteta. Arteta's choosing Deadwood. And then to see this, which we've been crying out for, who knows? Who knows back then, maybe if we had introduced like an Emil Smith and have maybe drop Obo or something like that. Who knows? We might have been even 6 points even ahead. But it's clearly Tierney. Clearly. I would agree with Saka also, but
I think we're all going to remember this that it was the terrible conditions and wasn't dressed in Under Armour, and probably be remembered. This game will be remembered for the first 2 goals, and Tierney scored a great goal.
One thing you also have to remember is, just like I've said before, when Martinelli came out and played those first 2 games, the only reason why we looked the way we did is because he came out there. And the last 2 games, Emil Smith-Rowe, same thing. I mean, you take him out of there, and I don't think we went, based on what we've seen in the past, I don't think we played the same way. Yeah. So those 2 players, Emil Smith-Rowe and Martinelli, make all the difference for us right now. With their energy that they bring to the field, their tenacity on when they're trying to get the ball back. Without the ball, they're really good. On the ball, they're perfect for us. So, like I said, those 3 players for me, they all brought something to the game, and you could have chosen either one, and you wouldn't have been wrong.
Yeah,
yeah.
No, for sure. And Robin said Tierney for me. It's not an easy decision. Saka, Emil Smith-Rowe, Laka, and Mari as well. Tobias maybe less so.
I mean, our defense looked really good. I mean, for parts, they do switch off. We saw that, but in general, they looked really good together, working, and we don't miss Gabriel as much, right?
Yeah.
I would like to see the Gabriel Mari kind of back there, because I feel like they give us a little bit more than the holding one, even though the footwork, they're both left-footed, which seems to be a problem, but I'd rather have 2 of the better players out there than So
usually, Gary, good players can overcome situations like that. If you're a good player, you can get through games, and that can't worry you. Pablo Mari is stepping forward. Anthony, question. So maybe our stage 1 of the rebuild, as we've been touting here on this podcast. Stage 1 of Arteta's rebuild was fixing our defense. And as I said at the start of the podcast, we've gone from Mustafi-Socrates partnership to now, a Gabriel Holding, or a Gabriel David Luiz, or maybe a Gabriel Mari. So we definitely improved there. Stage 2 was integrating the young players from Hale End, the academy, and that's starting to work now. I don't even know what stage 3 would be. What you can use a little bit of improv if you want to just go off the cuff. What would stage 3 look like to you?
I think stage 3 is gonna have to be about maybe finding squad balance now. He's kind of, I think, figuring out now maybe what his strongest. I wouldn't say 11, because I don't think he knows his strongest starting team, but maybe maybe he knows his kind of, say, 13, 14 that are in contention for a start. Yeah. So I think now for him, it's about finding the right balance of bringing in the caliber of player that are going to challenge the guys that he favors now for a start. He needs to bring in guys that are able to push them. I think Arteta's aware. I think he knows who's not up to the level. I think to a certain extent, though, like managers at times, they inherit a squad. Your hands are a little bit tied. It's easy for us to sit here and say, well, these 3 or 4 players aren't good enough to be in the team. Get rid of them. The reality is not always that simple. They come with big wages attached. Like we've seen Kolasinac supposedly was willing to take a pay cut to move off to Schalke to play football. Then you have the likes of Ozil, who's not willing to take a pay cut. So it's not always black and white. It's not always as simple as, just get rid of him, replace him. you know, you've got things to work with here. But he's not stupid. He knows who. He has an idea at least of who is there for the long term, who he needs to replace in the long term. So I definitely think he needs to work on that, find the right squad balance. He needs to find guys that are able to step in, and like you've seen guys out there now playing, they're showing the level. He needs guys that are able to come in and replace them when needed and perform to the same level. And it's not an easy thing to do, but hopefully if he gets the right backing, then hopefully he can get those players. We can't keep going for the short-term solutions like the Williams and the guys who are signed just for the sake of a signing. You know, he really needs to do his homework, and hopefully Edu has done his as well, and they have identified guys that are capable of stepping in when we need them to.
Yeah, and we definitely do need help, and we'll see in a moment. We'll talk about what we maybe need in the January window. Gary, what do you think stage 3 of the rebuild should be?
Okay.
Improv, go off if you want to.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think what it should be is like Anthony said, I think we need to find that 11. I mean, because we know we're going to need depth, so that's going to be ongoing for a while, anyways. But I think it'd be good to have that 11 that we can put out there. And the one gap that I know we have is just one of those the midfielder that we need to replace. Right, we need a partner for our Partey. So get him a partner. And then I think then we have the 11. You know, I think the right back still needs to be solidified, but I think we find a partner for Partey. I think we'll be good there, you know, because we have enough options in a lot of the other spots. And then depth right after that, because we know we need that. But I like to get our starting 11 so I know what that is going. You know, so you know if it's a big game, who's going to go out there and be the 11 for us, right? Because right now we don't have that, and we know we've got gaps when we put certain players out there, they're just not performing the way we want. So I think the next stage should be getting 11. More than likely, they're gonna just try to improve the depth because they are going to be losing so many players. But it'd be nice to have a starting 11 that we can compete with anybody, right?
Yeah, and look, Mahir, we have seen probably the start of a couple of players moving out. Kolasinac, he was not the right player for us in the last year or two. Kolasinac and Socrates being two players that are moving on, possibly. But what would stage 3 look like to you, Mahir?
Stage 3 would be finding the right squad depth. Hopefully, some sort of playing style, maybe like a Mikel Arteta's playing style if he's still around.
Implement the style of play now.
Implement the style of play and have a squad that can do the job basically week in, week out. And that, includes, first of all, getting a partner for Thomas Partey in the midfield, and maybe another attacking midfielder and a right back. Yeah, that would be it for me. And implementing them well in the squad.
Anthony, it came pretty late in the day, but I do believe Arteta is starting to understand the players that he has in the squad now, just in time for January window coming up. Like I said, he left it very, very late, and that could have been during the happenstance of players being suspended, sent off. You know what I'm talking about. Do we know now? Do you think Arteta knows what he has in his squad that he and Edu can go out and get? Maybe it's one player we're going to get us to the summertime, because we know there's going to be a lot of turnover in the summer. That we know what we can address to give us that extra push in the next few months.
Yeah, it could be a bit of a blessing in disguise, kind of what's happened over the last couple of weeks. Arteta's hand has probably been forced a bit more than he would have liked. We were all calling for it. We were saying, you got to start implementing some of the youngsters, give them their chance. He didn't seem too overly pushed on doing that until like that, a couple of mystery illnesses and suspensions and things like that. He sort of was forced into doing bits and pieces. But, now I'm hoping he can sit back and kind of say, maybe these guys are, a bit more up to it than maybe I gave them credit for. And if he looks at it in the long run, he might be able to say, well, having a guy like Smith Rowe and now Martinelli and that back in the team, Bukayo Saka moving onto the right hand side, he might say, well, that potentially saves us a couple of quid in areas that I felt we might have needed to spend, and maybe it's not as necessary as we initially thought, and we can possibly concentrate on other areas of the pitch. Again, that's not to say I don't think we should still strengthen in the areas that we're all aware of, but it's probably a nice headache for him and Edu to have now, because maybe they're kind of going, okay, we have more options than we initially thought. There might be slightly less panic in certain areas. Like I said, we had no creative midfielder.
Yeah.
So
the team is starting to gel, starting to work cohesively.
Exactly. And now we at least have an option. I'm not saying he is the overall option and we have to throw all our eggs into the one basket, but now we have an option that we didn't have a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, again, it's kind of I guess it's a nice predicament to find ourselves in.
Yeah, like I said, Gary, at the start of the podcast, 7 days or even 10 days in football after you play 3 games, you can be at Chelsea starting to look pretty at the beginning of those 10 days, and look where they are now. And I actually thought Chelsea would step forward today. They needed to win. They didn't win. Similarly, look at Arsenal, Arteta. He's just found the way for Arsenal to play with Emile Smith-Rowe. And things can change in football very quickly. But I think it's very, very important not to get sucked into thinking that we have enough now in the squad to get us to where we need to in the short term, being 3 or 4 months from now. So what do you think we need to do in the window?
I do like the Buendia pickup. I mean, I feel like that might be something good we can do. I saw Stan talk about a center forward, and I guess, but that would require us maybe selling either Lacazette or Aubameyang, right, for us to make that work. I don't think we can afford to just go out right and buy another one and keep those 2 on board. So
maybe more importantly, a Balogun, maybe try to tie him down and see, negotiate with him and say, listen, this is the team is going forward. You can be part of this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I've forgotten that one, but I kind of feel like that one, just like the Saliba, the Saliba and Balogun are
slipping.
2 players that we actually need, because we need them for our depth, much less maybe for our future. And I think either the team is messed up and it got to the point where the player said, you know what, forget it, I'm done. But those are 2 situations that if they can remedy them, they should fix those right away. I mean, if it does require that Saliba goes out on loan, but he comes back for next year ready to go, so be it. Same thing with Balogun, right? They need to lock him down, and if he needs to go out on loan just to get him the playing time that he needs when he comes back, so be it. But letting him go and not getting anything back, I think, is going to be a little hard for the team to swallow, especially when those are players that they need, and they've seen them. At least I've seen Balogun work, and what he's provided has been exactly what we've been missing, right?
Yeah, I think exactly. Balogun is a player we need to hold on to. I would hope that we can convince him. Look at the project. I'm not going to say the process. I hate that phrase. Look at the project. Sell him on the project. These players, special praise for Emile Smith-Rowe. We've talked about him. Saka, Martinelli is going to be there, and Lacazette is the center of everything. I criticize Lacazette.
Yeah, I was just going to say to Sambo, he had to bring him on because he's got a 3 amigo contract that he has to play all 3 of them, as many games as he can. So, Jacques and Hector started, so he had to fill out his quota.
Yeah, it's very distressing for me having Willian come on and not have Pepe be in there. I do think that Arteta has closed doors on some of the players, and that Pepe, Saliba, those 2 in particular for me are dodgy ones. Mahir, are you there?
Yeah, I am here.
All right. What would you like to see in the window?
Right back, if possible.
Keep it to two now. We don't have a lot of money.
Okay, only two. I'm going with a striker and a partner for Thomas Partey.
Okay. All right. So
And that means if we
keep
have to
Zoolander
sell,
for a little bit more.
oh man, you know what? If he can perform on the pitch and stop modeling, nobody cares about what you're doing. And we're gonna plant 1,000 trees, plant 1,000 trees every time we win, plant 1,000 trees every time we lose, man. And the defense is to blame. Plant 1,000 trees, then we can survive for another 1,000 years. Yeah. Jeez, fam.
Nice one. And Steve Denham, I'm sorry I didn't send you a notification, but you'll get a buzz out of what Mahir just said there. And I have this banner up for a few weeks. I think I'll take it down. Why can't Arsenal play with the possibility of winning, not the probability of losing? Hopefully that's 2020. You know what I mean? Or we're not 2020 as in perfect vision. 2021.
Yeah.
Robin mentioned goalkeeper. I think that's maybe possible. We might need a backup goalkeeper. If Berlano was to go down, it would be an issue for us. And Military Gunner joining us at Chelsea are regressing. Okay, final topic for today. We're going to talk about what do we need to do, Anthony, to keep these great young players that we have. It's my feeling is that the whole team has to improve together. We've talked about the team on the field being one entity. They need to think together. They need to breathe together. They need to understand when to batten down the hatches if they're under pressure. To be cohesive, they need to lay low in the grass if they're under pressure, and they need to strike and counterattack to win a game at times, play dirty and all of that stuff. But we have young players that we don't want to lose. We got Martinelli, we got Saka, we got Tierney, we got Emile Smith-Rowe. I could go on. Balogun I just talked about, Ainsley Maitland-Niles. If we don't improve as a whole team, we could lose these players to bigger sides in the Premier League, and we could lose these players to teams in Europe. So what do we need to do to keep these players? And we touched on a little bit with Balogun.
Yeah, well, if you want to keep these guys, you've got to show them that you've got the same ambition that they have. Like in the past, I think the problem we've had was our squad has regressed because we haven't had guys that had the same ambition that maybe we as fans have had, who were happy enough to take the big wages, and I don't think it really mattered to them whether we were title chasing or anything.
Yeah.
You kind of want these young lads to have that ambition, that they're willing to say, look, I'm giving you 2 or 3 seasons, and if it doesn't change, I'm out the door. Like, you can have no problems with guys having that mentality. Like, they're the type of mentalities you want around your club, because you want guys who want to win and want to progress and want to achieve things. So yeah, I'm more than happy to have guys like that. Like, I would love nothing more than our group of youngsters to be able to come out and say that, and say, look, this is the beginning of my career. It's going to be a long career ahead. I want to win things, and if I don't see the club matching the ambitions that I have, then I'm gone. Like, you can't argue with that. Like I said, we have to show them. We have to show them as a club that we can match the ambitions, and that starts from the owners. I think it's time for the owners to, start. They've got to start protecting their own investment first and foremost. They have to start realizing that the longer you let the club stagnate, it's only damaging your own finances in the long run. So they've got to realize you've got to start spending to make the money. They've got to start raising the profile of the club back to what it was. They've got to start helping out. Like, they can't expect that we're going to be competing for the top prizes, like Josh Kroenke was talking about, competing for the Champions League and the Premier League. But you can't expect to do that just based off of our youth academy. We've got lucky. We seem to have hit a little bit of a like a golden generation here. But this group of players, this is a group of players that we might not see come through the youth system again for another 10 years. You know what I mean? It's hard to do that every single season. But yeah, look, you've got to give the guys, if you want them to stay, you've got to match the ambitions they have. You've obviously got to give them the minutes on the pitch. You got to show them that you believe in them, you've got faith in them, you're willing to give them the opportunity. In terms of, you know, a guy like Balogun, I can't see why, like, if you're a guy like Balogun, you're 19, you're only starting your career. If I was Balogun, I would be looking at, you know, the bigger picture, kind of going long term, maybe 2-3 seasons. Lacazette, Aubameyang are out the door. You've only got yourself and Nketiah there. You know, you're basically next in line at a massive club where you're going to be adored by the fans. To me, for him to move on and leave that behind at this stage in his career, I think is a bit crazy. And if he does go, it's probably being ill-advised by an agent, maybe for financial reasons. I know the agent represents both himself and Nketiah, so maybe it's a slight case of, if we do see him go, it's probably a case of, well, I've got one client there, he's next in line, I'll move you on to your next in line elsewhere. But yeah, that would be my thinking. If I was somebody like Balogun and Nketiah as well, you know, give it, you know, do your time. You're still only 19, 20. You're still learning. Give yourself time. Even sign a short-term deal. You know, even if you signed a deal for 2 or 3 seasons, you're still only going to be 21, 22 maybe. You know, you could be playing, you could be regular starting, you know, at Arsenal Football Club in front of 60,000 fans every single week. Like, that's a big deal. And if it doesn't work out and you don't see a change in the club and the ambition, you know, you're still so young in your career, and I'm sure you're playing a bit of football.
Yeah,
you know, that someone's going to pick you up. You're going to do well elsewhere. So
Exactly.
and you know, it's not easy to convince some of us here on this panel and the assembled. Let's all hold our breath now and breathe again when this board shows ambition. And it's not easy to put that much faith in the club, you know. I was talking to Rowan the other week, and he's like, the team was killing him like 2 weeks ago, and now he's feeling a little bit better because, you know, we see something, we see the embers of something, Gary, that the club is growing here, and we better not go away from this path now that we discovered it. Whether it was by design or not, we've stumbled across Emile Smith-Rowe, Saka, like I said, Tierney, Martinelli. These are gems that we have in our squad, and they're assets. And I just don't want to sell them off for profit. We want to convince them that they need to be at the club. They're going to be part of a golden generation, that we can pick up a trophy, a major trophy here and there. We want to progress past an FA Cup. It sounds greedy, but you know, we've done well in FA Cups, but we want to get some league titles in here, and maybe even beyond that. You know, how do we show that ambition and hold on to our assets, Gary?
Well, I mean, they have to see it, right? And I guess what I don't see what Balogun's been presented with that would lead him to want to stay. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, everybody. I mean, I understand there's the opportunity and a potential for him to stay and do well is good, but I don't feel like. I guess that's just me. I don't feel like he's seen the team show him a plan that actually makes sense to him. You know, as far as in his growth, you know, what is his future? You know, based on what we've seen right now, he won't play again for the rest of the season. Right? It'll be spot duty here and there, and that's not you. You would rather him be out on loan, and not just. And this is a little too late for that now, but this is something that if you saw something in him before the season ended, you would have tied him up if you could into a contract, and then got him out on loan to get him the time that he needs. So when he comes back, he'll be good. And these are the forward thinking. This is the same as like, you know, the players making the moves. Emile Smith-Rowe making moves long before the defense even knows what's going on. Same thing with the way that we manage our players. And Balogun's the future, then he should have already known what the plan was, and you know, either he's staying or going. But it sounds like he wants playing time. He's not going to get it right now. What is he supposed to do? I mean, what incentive does he have to want to stay? He's going to be idle for half of the season based on what we've seen so far. He hasn't played yet, and Eddie's like third center forward that we have, right? Basically, they're going to probably go to Aubameyang before they go to Eddie, right? So that means Balogun's fourth. He should be probably out on loan, getting time, potential and stuff like that, so he can come back and play when the Lacazettes are gone. Because Lacazette, I saw a comment that we were probably not going to re-sign him. So if that's the case, then he should be going, probably this summer, right? Don't want to hold him and have him walk away for nothing, right? So he should be, if not at the end of this January of this month, or
I personally think, Gary, I agree with that. I think that we need to stop giving contracts to players who are reaching close to 30 years old. We got to start turning that tide to where we perform more like a Liverpool or a better run club, and we get the players who are getting to 28, 29, and we want to move them on at that point in time and not hand out, as we know, 32-year-olds with big contracts. Because what we're seeing here is the young players. And I agree with Anthony Balogun. If he's smart, he should stick around. You don't know what it's like on the other side. The grass is always greener, right? So
look at Ryan Brewster right now at Sheffield United. He left Liverpool. I know there's a buyback option, but like if you're Liverpool watching right now, you're probably saying it was a smart move getting rid of him.
Yeah, and he could have prospered at Liverpool if he gotten 20 minutes here and there. Who knows what would happen? But
and look, that's the thing. Like,
why can't he play with the team we have right now? Tell me, why is he not part of the squad right now?
I think it's a little bit.
What have you seen from him that he couldn't fit into what we're doing right now?
I think it's a little bit, Gary, that he hasn't committed to the club, and the club are not willing to commit to him at this point in time. Not put him in the shop window.
I think for me at the moment, if you look at the case of Eddie Nketiah, Eddie Nketiah was basically what Balogun was right now at one point, not with the contract thing, but he was the hyped up sort of young striker, kind of breaking all the records in the youth team. Now there was people calling for him to be, he should be in the team, he should get more minutes. Now he is getting that, and suddenly people have gone off of him. Now, I have high hopes for Balogun, but what's to say he won't go down the exact same path? And as fans, I think we tend to get a bit hung up on what's new and shiny and fresh. And right now, Balogun is the new thing. So we're already tossing Nketiah to the side and saying automatically Balogun is better than Nketiah because Balogun's not actually playing. Now we've literally got.
I don't believe that.
Well, we've literally got a snippet of 2 Europa League appearances really to go off of. Like this is what we're basing on Balogun. Like Balogun is like the great hope of the future, and I would love if that is the case. But like I said, I try my best, and I use this with even William Saliba. Really, all I have to base my judgment of William Saliba is a handful of YouTube clips and a couple of under-23 clips. This is why I'm personally not calling for, I would love to see him get a chance so I can form a better, more valid opinion. Yeah. And the same goes for Balogun. Of course, I want to see him get his chance, but I'm trying not to lose it. If he does walk out the door in the morning, I'm not going to get overly upset because I am basing all of my thoughts are coming off of hype and what people are telling me he is going to be rather than what I have seen. I've seen moments that I like. I've seen a couple of bits and pieces in the Europa League where I can say, okay, I can see there's the potential for this and this and this. I just haven't seen it in a Premier League setting, and I haven't seen it on a consistent kind of basis. Not enough. Like for me, I think I'd need probably I'd want to see a guy play at least 10 times before I really can make up a proper valid judgment. Do you know what I mean?
Personally, off of 2 games that I saw Balogun, I've seen more from him than I've seen in half a dozen games from Nketiah. And I don't know where Gary stands on this.
No, I was just going to say that we wouldn't have a Saka or Martinelli right now if it wasn't for what we saw out of them in the Europa League games. We saw a lot more of them in those games, but we wouldn't have seen. We wouldn't be sitting here, praising the Martinellis and Sakas if we hadn't seen them play in the Europa League, and that's where they were able to shine. And we never used it that way this year. I mean, this year, a lot of the senior players were playing in those games, taking away those opportunities for the younger players who, when they came on, they looked well. All of them looked good. Consistent. We got a lot out of them, and if that was the style that he wanted to play, he saw it, right? So that's where I'm like, that's why it's more of this whole process plan thing. That's where I feel like that's where the things are lacking, and that's why we're not getting the best out of our opportunities with the players, and that's why we're having problems keeping them, because that's the only time he wasn't playing in the U23s. The only time he was going to be able to showcase anything was in the games he was going to get in the Europa League. It wasn't like we weren't playing the top. There's no reason not to play those younger players a lot more than what we did. And, and this is where we are with him, right? We got to see him play for about 30, 40 minutes. All good.
Yeah, he definitely, if he does sign that contract, I definitely think a loan move. We need to see him play a full season, and I think the same went for Nketiah. Like I said, Nketiah, he's at a weird kind of crossroads where he's definitely too good for the under-23s. You can see him breaking all the records for the England under-21s, but he still looks a little step below adult football. Premier League football, definitely. And unfortunately, the Leeds move didn't work out. He didn't get the playing time, and that would be my only concern with Balogun. That Nketiah used to have that hype behind him, and he hasn't at the moment. He's still so young, and this is why I feel it. Sometimes we're a little bit unfair with Nketiah because he's still so young, and sometimes people treat him as if he's a 27-year-old guy who's like, look, you're not a kid anymore. You should be at this level. He's still so young. He just needs, I think, more consistency. I think he definitely will benefit from a move. If we could send him out to maybe like a lesser Premier League side and he could do a season, maybe 2 seasons, we might have a player on our hands. That would be just my only concern with Balogun. We're sort of basing a lot of our judgment off of a snippet, really. You know what I mean? I would like to.
We fell into the same trap with Martinez as well. I mean, I saw enough of Martinez last year for him to be maintained as number one in the starting lineup. Stan has made a good point here. Eddie and Balogun have the same age, and at some point Arsenal will be forced to make a decision. The agent will work both in his best interest and his client's best interest. Curious as well, we probably haven't seen Eddie Nketiah in the squad, Gary, and I would think that would be because Emile Smith-Rowe has been promoted into the first team squad now.
Yeah, I mean,
and William's still in the stands.
Yeah. And then this is why can't we just play our best players? That's what we're asking for, right? We see some good out of them. We want to see them play, and we're not seeing them play. Some of them, anyways.
I would be okay, Gary, if it was 1 or 2 differences. We're all going to have differences. As Arsenal fans, I'm not taking notes of who was losing faith with our.
I guess one thing. I guess So we have right now, Martinelli, Saka, and Smith-Rowe. They're in that age group where, they're part of the squad, right?
Yeah. Do
teams have 4 and 5 players in that same age bracket all coming in that are going to be full-time squad players? Are we saturated with the talent that? I mean, I feel like all those players in that age group are pretty good and can be at least squad players, if not starters, for us. So, and this is where I'm saying, like, I think it's more of the team kind of messing, they're not performing well in the way that they manage their players, that you've got so many players around the same age. Not all of them are going to come out and be, you're not going to have a full squad of like 21-year-olds all playing, at that level that you want. So, there's something's a little, so with that in mind, they should either be, you should either be selling them or they should be out on loan to make sure that, should we keep them or not? We don't know yet. And that's where I'm saying, like, a lot of that mismanagement is causing this issue, and it's not necessarily the players, as much as it's the team not doing what they're supposed to do with these players beforehand. So you're not in this situation, all right? I mean, Balogun he should be either here or gone already by now. And Kedia, is he part of the future as he is? Then that means one of our center forwards isn't. He should be playing, and he's not. The Willocks and the Nelsons, what are they to the future of the team? Once again, we've got they've got money tied up, and they're not able to utilize what the youth that they do have to either at least supplement some of that money that they're spending on the senior players that they have. So I think, like I said, I think it's more of the management of the way the team has structured themselves that's causing this issue. Because you look at a lot of the top teams, how many of them are have three players like we do? The Martinelli and Milsworth Rowe and Saka. I don't think you look at Man City today, and they've got Foden, and that's it, right? That's the only player. That's the youngest. I believe that's the youngest player they have. That's showing that And he wasn't even playing much last year, and I thought, why wasn't he? And they've got the depth, right? And that's what we don't have. We don't have the depth, and we don't have the senior players that are legitimate starters in the Premier League. So I think you either have one choice: either you play them and burn them out, or you get them out and get them some experience on less in a league that's not as tough as the Premier League. So at least they'll be ready to go and not be beat up when they get when they finally do get to that age that they're ready to be starters full time for us.
And Arsenal Central, a new face around here, so thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Arsenal Central, consider subscribing. Willock and Nelson aren't of the required standards. Send them out on loan. Can't really argue with that. Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe definitely diamonds that are in the rough for us.
I don't think anybody thinks Martinelli will be here too long. All right, I think a lot of people feel like
as well. We want to realize the player's ambitions, but also have the player be part of the club's history in terms of winning something. Gary, another good point, Anthony. Record are there to be broken. Does Nketiah have what it takes to be an Arsenal player? And listen, we'll leave it there. Great win. We're getting used to this a little bit, Gary. 3 in a row. Right?
3 in a row, yes. 9 points out of 9 points. I mean, I don't think we've been able to say that. We're able to say maybe 3 wins in a row, but it was with a Europa League game in the middle, or 2 on both sides. So, yeah, this is good. I mean, this is like I said, this is what we want to see, and hopefully we can keep it going on. Like anything else, I wait until I see the lineup to know, are we still on the right path or not? So.
And Gary, Tony keeps mentioning our prediction podcast that we're going to have to review at the end of the season, where we had some lofty ambitions. Rashmit, you will have to rewind a little bit back. We just had a lengthy discussion on Balogun about 10 or 15 minutes ago. And Taib, I want to get back to your question real quick. How do we reignite Pepe, Gary? As your last question.
Oh, reignite. I don't know. That is a big question. I mean, if Willian didn't do it, and Saka doesn't do it in terms of getting him, kind of like feeling like I need to show up and show out on the field, then maybe he just doesn't have it, and that's we need players that have it, that want to go out there and showcase what they've got.
Do you think you could benefit with playing alongside Emile Smith-Rowe like Saka has? Obviously, they've played again with each other.
Well, Saka's been doing it without Emile Smith-Rowe, and that's the problem, right?
Yeah.
Now he has it. He looks even better than he did before, and Pepe should have at least looked like, what? I know I don't have all the help, but I can do some of this myself, and he hasn't been able to do that, and he doesn't do the work on the back side coming back. So everything about him says he's not 100% with this program, right? There's certain things he has to do and he's not doing either one of them. He's not taking defenders on when he has an opportunity. He's not coming back and supporting like we want him to, like Arteta wants him to. And those players shouldn't play. I mean, I don't know what it is. I mean, it should be easy. Here's the blueprint of how you get on the field, Pepe. You've seen it now twice, right? William showed you. Now Saka is showing you.
It's really up to the player now, Gary.
I mean, Aubameyang showed you that, if you get yourself in the right position, you can have opportunities to score.
Yeah.
So why not? And so it's up to him. I think it's all in his hands. Either he shows us or he doesn't, and then I have a feeling at some point he might give up, and that's gonna be, that's when the team will have to move on from him.
Any final thoughts, Gary, before we go to Anthony?
Final thoughts. I mean, I'm looking forward to the next game. I know. I guess we played Newcastle back to back, right? So
Newcastle, then Palace.
I don't know. I want to win both of those games. I don't want to do what we did the Man City way. I want to win both of those. So we play teams back to back. We should be able to win both of those with the team we've got if the players are, their ambitions are high. Yeah. So Partey will come back, so that will help us out. So that means that one of the midfielders will be rested for one of those games, or or Partey will play both, right? So
yeah, I can see Partey and Pepe coming in for the FA Cup game. Anthony, final thoughts or anything we just touched on there?
Yeah, final thoughts. I think I'm going to have to hand in my notice to my job because I see us winning a few more games, so I'm going to have to start doing this full time.
We'll work something out. You know what I mean?
And I'm also thinking I'm going to have to start building a studio in the bathroom just for my toilet break.
Not one. Pepe had free reign in the French league. He just needs to add discipline to his game, and I want to see him playing with Emile Smith-Rowe because centrally he can inject some pace into Pepe and play some balls into his speed.
I think a big part of Pepe's problem is I think we were relying on him to be the attacking creative force, and I don't think he's that type of player. I don't think he's the type of player that steps up under pressure. I think he's the type of player who's going to complement an already quite attacking side.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. I still think he's probably feeling the pressure of that price tag.
It's unfortunate. He seems like a kid that is very introverted as well, Anthony. You know what I mean?
He doesn't carry himself like a £72 million player.
So, but where is that spot on this team?
Yeah,
because you bring Martinelli in there, you take Aubameyang out. Who does he replace? Who does Pepe replace on those four at the top?
Yeah. Funnily enough, he was our second most offensive contributing player last season. We need to get him back to doing something like that. The 72 million is always going to be something hanging over his head. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
I want to thank Gary for joining me once again. Mahir, who's not here, but we'll give him an out because it is South Africa. It's 7 hours on, and it's 11 p.m. there on a Sunday night, so you have to cut out a little bit early. And Anthony, you always fulfilled the obligations of your contract, so big up to you for that.
I'm just glad we're winning.
And check Anthony out. He's doing some YouTube stuff as well. Follow Gary on Twitter. You can see you've seen it throughout the podcast, but I'll take this off so you can see. Don't waste that tweet, Gary. So, listen, everyone, thanks for joining. We go to the FA Cup. It's a week now, so we'll see what happens. And let's start the defense of the FA Cup and see what happens. We usually win in the cup competitions, Gary.
Yeah, well, got to continue that. Got to keep our winning ways. Yep.
Up the Arsenal. Come on, you Gunners. Thanks for watching. Bye.